Kenny.
What? What's...
I'm giving you the ghost.
Oh, I'm going off the rails on a crazy train. Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Off the Rails. I'm your host Kenny, and I'm here with my man in the chair,
Joni. Yeah, that was 26 minutes into it, or 26 seconds into the.
I didn't know that you were trying to cue me.
I gave you the.
I wasn't even looking at you.
You started looking at me. I was like, okay, and then I pointed at you, and then all of a sudden I realized you weren't looking at me, and I was like, oh no.
Crazy waving. I was funny that we start like that. So I was behind one of our drivers, and this person has admitted that they have a difficult time remembering that their hazards are on. So we go over a railroad crossing, their hazards are still going, and I'm trying to I'm directly behind them, so I'm trying to wave them out like crazy inflatable wacky arm doing thing, trying to let them know your hazards are on, your hazards are on. And what does she do? She gets all the kids to turn around and wave back at me. I was like, no, I think you missed the point. Please. I'm trying to help you. Oh, well. It was funny.
That was good news. Oh. Every time, man.
What did you do?
I get an overlay queued up to go.
And then you forget to hit play.
I never get to even play. Every time. Look at there's just we're like 2 minutes into it, and it's just 2 minutes of people staring at Bruce Wayne's face. He's just
funny. I have a little bit of a gripe.
Oh, he's got gripe.
I got gripe.
Well, you got gripe. I'm gonna.
We're both trainers, right? We're both trainers.
Quality check, sir. I am a third-party tester now.
We're both trainers. Don't be holier than thou with me right now. Don't taunt me with your easier life.
Easier.
Your life is easier. I've seen what Jerry's been up to.
Okay, so Jerry has the easier. I don't. I still carry the same workload I did as a trainer, and then some.
I don't know. It seems like you become a tester, and all of a sudden you don't have to train people anymore.
What have I been doing?
I don't know.
Since I got back from the class.
Do you have your tester certificate? Because imagine what's going to go away as soon as you get that certificate.
It's quite literally in the mail.
I don't know. I haven't seen any evidence that you've passed this course yet.
Oh, don't you start with
this
that.
This is all hearsay.
I will come across this table like a spider monkey, dude.
Anywho's, there's what the trainees are accountable for. There's what we're supposed to teach them, which is everything in that book, right? They're accountable for that information. They're supposed to know it. I have 5 hours in total to teach them all that.
Well, I'm just doing a quick quality check. Okay.
Do a quick quality check on this mac and cheese.
So go over what you said. Yeah. So they are responsible for what we give them. And,
yes.
All right, and you said something about 5 hours. Go on with that.
Yes. There is they're supposed to know everything in the book. People above me are more concerned with whether or not they can pass a test, moreover than know everything that they're accountable for. That's kind of frustrating. Because I only get 5 hours with them if I'm only doing BTW, which most of my trainings I've had lately is just BTW, so I don't log any of the other hours with them. So if I only get 5 hours BTW time with them, how can I teach them everything that book has to offer? Their solution? I'm not supposed to teach them everything and hold them accountable to everything in that book. They're just supposed to know the test. And I am not pleased with that.
Well, there's got to be a way that you can do both, because, I mean, I have a performance checklist, and I go over that with them. A lot of the things that I'll wind up doing with that is I will go over a couple of items that I can cover in one exercise. And then so that way I can say here and here and here, you know. And then some of it is some of it's just verbal. You just direct it to them and talk about it. And
I'm not
There-
too worried about the driving portion because the driving portion is 15 hours. I run out of things to do. I get bored when they're during the driving portion because we cover everything and we do it so often. The number one complaint I get from trainees is, "This is all cool. I like the driving part, but I want to practice my pre-trip." And I was like, "Well, no, I can't do that. Our hour's up. I got to sit here for 3 hours with you driving." And I only get 5 hours for an entire week. I get 5 hours of pre-trip with someone. I cannot fully hold someone accountable to everything that they're supposed to know in 5 hours.
I don't know. I haven't been having that much issue with it myself. My trainees go through and I don't just teach them to the test because we're not supposed to. They have a pre-trip sheet, and I've looked it over, and that's not to the test.
It's not to the test, but I also have to correct it because it's weird.
Well, so like the way that it's set up is for a transit. So some things are a little out of order.
Yeah, some things are a little bit out of order.
I use that only as like a study guide for them. I will have them devise their own kind of routine and use that just as an answer sheet for the first couple of days. After that, I start taking it away from them and making them do it themselves from memory.
Yeah. To be fair, though, the last couple of trainees I've had have had a really hard time with pre-trip. And they're just not getting... The hour is not enough for them to even process an entire pre-trip.
Yeah. Are they taking it home too and studying it?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
right there-
you've been with one of my trainees. You know the notes they take.
Oh, well, you can tell me which one afterwards.
The one that got their car stuck.
Yeah, well, and that's a whole other thing too, because I mean, I'm sure that one has told you too, but that's a whole other mess.
And then the one I have right now, I think, is just genuinely has a difficult time with such things.
I'm
And then because some of it was visual, this trainee was having a hard time visualizing things, and I could show them pictures all day from the manual, which they would never bring to class. But when I try to draw out diagrams on a whiteboard, I get thrown into a sting operation by my management. And then that was weird because they did it in front of the trainee. And afterwards they're like, "Oh, shouldn't have done that in front of the trainee." They're like, "Okay, cool. That's faith restored." And then the trainee afterwards was like, "I don't ever want to express my opinions around this management." Because they had asked me to do that. And here I am getting yelled at for it. I'm the one that went to the course. I got the certs. I got approved capable of training people. Let me do my job. I need to be able to do my job. What's the point of going to the course and getting the cert if I'm just going to follow somebody that hasn't gone to the course and got the cert? Who does that help? I feel like I'm trying to train with one arm tied behind my back. I'm trying to appease the politics and the bureaucracy while making competent drivers. It's not fun.
Do you need a hug?
Maybe I need to
You
hug.
maybe need a hug.
Maybe I need
Yeah, I
to
got
hug.
some M&M's for you.
I got some M&M's.
I'm sorry that you're having a hard time with the work. I am. I wish that I could help out more, but I'm not around to be able to do any sort of evaluation or anything like that for anyone. I can't give you tips because I don't know exactly what's going on there. I do know that as far as the differences in training and training styles between the two companies that we've worked for, I actually haven't changed my training all that much. you know, and still accomplish just as much as I did with the old company as I do here. If not, I could probably accomplish more if they would let me. You know?
It's frustrating because they're concerned with hours. I'm concerned with whether they know it or not.
Yeah, and there needs to be.
I don't like the ratio that's weighing on me.
I was gonna say there needs to be a mixture of the two. You know.
Yeah, one's definitely more difficult for them to pick up than the other, but it's not the one we're focusing on. And it's because it's not the one that the state cares about, so therefore our management doesn't care about it.
Federal, not state. It's new federal requirements is what it is. But yeah, I get it. I get how frustrating it is. You know?
And then I get that they're not supposed to, they don't have to know the names of things, but just putting your hand somewhere and moving it around isn't sufficient to get the points for that item on the test.
And moving it around?
Yeah, that's as far as I'm going to go with that one.
I mean, they still have to say...
Yeah, they still have to say the right thing. Yeah. And I don't need it to be like verbatim what I say. I don't need it necessarily be exactly what it says in the book. I just need semantics of some kind. Something relatively close to it. Certain things have to be exact, like a number, half or 3/4, things like that. Certain parts of it are going to be exact, but you can beat around the bush on certain words. Bends, dents, cracks. No, bends, twists, or cracks. Something in that wheelhouse will effectively work. Mm-hmm. You can't just grab something and be like, yep, that's good.
No, you can't. And actually, so like as a third-party examiner, if I was to see that and someone were to do that, then I would have to score them down. That would be a demerit because that's not the criteria. The criteria...
I would I think this would be really fun for me. I'd like to see management get tested. Or then maybe they'll come away with a different perspective on what it takes to be a trainer. Or do they truly know the inspection themselves?
Well, I mean...
This is going to sound harsh of our own company.
That's something that...
I think 85% of our own company doesn't know how to do an adequate pre-trip.
Yeah, that's not something that's ever going to happen, unfortunately. So I tested one of them.
I have all the faith in the world for Mike.
I was avoiding
because he came from us. Well, I'm going to let Mike know that I have faith in him. Yeah. I don't need to shy away from that. I have all the faith in the world because Mike was one of us. He is a competent trainer. He just happens to be in management now. He's learning a different creed. But I know Mike can do it. Oh, I'd like to see other people up in management. I think it'd be funny to see do it.
Oh, yeah. No, you have no idea.
Because I saw that individual's test from the previous company, and that was hilarious.
It's
especially given the position he's in right now, for him to not do so well or not even pass a pre-trip. Yeah. That'd be funny. That'd be funny.
That one, I saw that too, and I thought it was hilarious that I saw that score in comparison to my own. Especially because considering the job that he came from.
I'm not mechanically inclined, nor am I an expert in mechanics. I'm an expert in pre-tripping a bus, though. So I don't have the same advantages. Man, I could pre-trip a bus without looking at it. I could describe it to you with my eyes closed, from beginning to end. Now, that might be a little bit of a stretch, trying to get other people to be on that same level, but I stand by my statement. I think 85% of our company can't do an adequate pre-trip. And if...
Well, our location, maybe not the company.
I was told this today, and I hope it's true. I hope to the very core of my being it's true. Trainers are getting pulled off of route duties to do training all day. We're just training. And part of that is going to be route evaluations, ride-alongs. I want to be a part of that because I want to tell people that wasn't very good.
You got a little knock.
Apparently I do.
You got a visitor. He's got a visitor coming.
Probably my roommate's lover from Quantico. His name is Jorge. Oh no, it's Josh. What's up, little one?
Well, so Dead Space. Here we go. We did not plan for our podcast to open up with us complaining about our occupation. But hey, if anyone's got any questions, comments, or anything like that, please go ahead and put it in the chat, and we'll go ahead and start answering that. By the way, go ahead and throw out any of that stuff in the chat as well throughout the podcast, and we will answer that towards the end of the podcast.
If you have any questions about buses and pre-tripping them, we happen to just be the right people for the job.
I'm still standing by this. The best people for the job.
Yeah, I will go compete with anyone.
Our state scores speak for themselves.
Yep. I will compete with whoever. I'll go. I'll do it. And I will train whoever. And I already know that there's people that are more difficult to train than others. That's fine. I just got done dealing with someone that was a little bit more difficult than others. I have all the faith in the world that they can do it. My philosophy is this: as long as you want to do it, then we can do it. The moment you don't want to do it anymore, then we can't do it, regardless of how good I am.
Yeah, and you know, on top of that, like back with the old company, the reason why I believe that our training department did so well, the design was pretty simple. Some trainees don't do well with other trainers. That's the reason why we had 3 trainers at the old company with 3 different training styles. So that way, if it didn't work out with one, we can send them over to the other. And we had a pretty high success rate with that, to the point where we were being sent off to other locations across the state to do the training.
Yeah.
And taking other locations, overflows, and quote-unquote difficult trainees and getting them to pass. Very rarely did we have anyone that actually could not work out, and I know of only one that I absolutely refused to work with.
Oh, well, you have to be someone that agrees to be workable. Like I said, my philosophy is we can do this as long as you want to do it. If you don't want to do it, then don't be here. Because our success is entirely dependent on whether or not you want to be here. If you're going to come into work, moan and groan and be depressed about everything, and then question not only everything I say, but then question everything that you do and whether or not you're successful or call yourself stupid, we're not going to get anything done. So we might as well figure it out right then and there. Is this the place you need to be? It's not always fun trying to arrive at that decision because you have to be able to read a person. Because you can figure out when a person is questioning themselves. And then you have to find the right way to bring it up in conversation. Even though they're contemplating it in their mind, they might not want to hear it out loud, especially from another person. Because then they will feel like they have failed. You don't want to hear it, especially when you're in the moment, but there's a lot of wisdom in knowing when it's time to quit. And I don't say that because, it sounds like a fun thing to say to someone that you're watching fail, but it's true. If you're not meant to be doing this job, you're going to go through all this turmoil. Eventually down the road, you may win, and you'll get there, but then you're going to be absolutely miserable when you find out that this job is not for you, and you went through all that hardship just to be miserable.
You know, you're right, because like Ian Bailey,
nerd,
our Ian,
what a nerd,
went through mine and Mike's class, and he put in. I mean, he failed twice. He failed his test twice before finally getting it, and he put in like so much work into it just to find and a half a year's worth of driving, just to find out that it wasn't for him.
Well, it sucks that we can't get people practice with students until they're actually hired.
But he did actually. He had practice with students. He did ride-alongs, and was supposed to be taught student management. Which, when he rode along with me, that's what at least I tried to teach him, was student management. But it's just not his. That is picking up every scrape on that bull. I'm watching the levels on your mic just go.
That's funny.
But yeah, it just wasn't for him. It's not his type of career. And you're right. There is wisdom in knowing when to call it quits.
He's probably picking that up too.
Yeah, it is.
I'm chewing on these M&Ms.
This is everyone like,
I'm gonna put the lid back on these M&Ms now.
See, that's the advantage to having a mic, because I can do that, and all I gotta do is disadvantage to wearing a headset. Everyone's gonna hear it. When you take a gulp, they're gonna hear it.
Oh, now if I do this.
Oh, you may have found the key. Oh, there it is. Got it.
No.
Yeah.
Liar, liar.
No, you see, my pants are not on fire.
Did I say pants on fire? It's really good.
M&Ms. M&Ms are
These are
delicious.
like big fat M&Ms though.
M&Ms are delicious.
My roommate here, she likes to freeze the M&Ms.
Is that a cell phone?
Do you have to go back out to the downtown?
I might. It depends. I'm really tired.
Are you doing duty?
Yeah, I just help, like, the security in the booth.
There you go.
I just help with security.
Welcome
in
to the
booth
podcast.
somewhere. Oh, thank you.
This is Echo Light.
Make sure it's like at your mouth. There you go.
Oh, it's one of these?
It is not sensitive at all.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
It's not.
Okay, that's good.
Yep.
There you
Well,
Yes.
go. Hold on.
You're gonna turn on another mic?
There, I don't like being left out of the conversation.
I don't know. I mean, as long as I'm here, this is gonna float.
This is gonna float.
There we go.
Yeah. Kenny's presence breeds success. What are you wearing on your belt, Ava?
I have a taser on my belt.
Shocking.
Don't start none, won't be none.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, she can't pull it out in time to actually do anything to anyone.
Yeah, I can.
Prove it.
You better put water back in that.
I will.
Because you like to put it back in the
messing
you
with-
don't.
She's messing with
Because I
water
wasn't
while
done.
wielding a
Put water in
taser.
it.
Put water in it.
Oh, I promise.
She's messing with water while wielding a taser.
She's almost tased me with that taser.
Look, it's not empty. She doesn't have to put water back in it.
It doesn't matter if it's
No,
empty. You
you still
put
gotta
water.
put water
You
in it
put.
so that
You still
there's-
gotta put water in it.
It's not empty. You only fill it up when you empty
You
it.
don't draw from the water
Oh.
source without filling the water source.
No, I just go down.
Thus,
to
we
help
make
with
Tony
security
fix
and
the
then
water
set up
source.
stuff and
There was I did security for the roundup one year. That was pretty neat. I almost got ran over twice.
Ran over, huh?
we're
Yeah,
just-
so I was at I worked for the company that contracts with them, and technically I was event staff, not and real security. I had a radio and nothing else. So I'm standing I was at two different gates, and at the main gate I was supposed to check people's window permits and let them know if they can go in there and park or not. And there was twice when I went to the one time I stopped a guy, actually checked his window permit. He wasn't supposed to be in there. I said, "You can't park here. You need to leave or you're going to get towed." And then he just went anyways and almost clipped me in my left knee. And then this other person bailed in there and went like right at me. Like I wasn't even checking their window, but I was turning around and they came right at me and I jumped out of the way.
Oh goodness.
This is back when I was like not so fat, so I could jump. Now it'd be more like
So years and years and years ago.
You know, that is not entirely inaccurate. It was 2010. 10, 11, 10.
I've never worked security for the Roundup. I've done
2011. That's what year it was.
snacks.
You did
Once.
snacks?
I did
Never
snacks
worked the Roundup.
once.
You
Otherwise, I've never
always
worked the
worked
Roundup.
Happy
I always
Canyon.
worked Happy Canyon.
Yeah.
I was supposed to do Happy Canyon my first year, but then I got
That was
pulled away for
awesome.
a medical emergency.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be a part of the Happy Canyon, but when I grew up and got a job, I was never available during this time of the year because they always worked me this week.
Not always.
Yeah, back when it was the other company, I was sent away. I would always work in different towns.
I remember one year, it was you and your buddy actually got on my bus that I was shuttling. You,
I don't remember this.
2017, I
It's
think.
probably just that little bit that he got of a break.
Because
No
I've always been
excuses.
sent away.
No excuses.
And really, it was because at first it was, hey, you want to go over to Boardman? Yeah, I'll go over to Boardman because Emmett was over there. And then David, when he joined, David and I would both go over there, and we'd hang out with Emmett all the time.
I think it was Emmett's little brother that got on with you.
Ryan?
I think.
I don't know.
I'm telling you, man, it was years
must
ago.
have been
I'll tell
something
you how.
like
I'll
a
tell you how
break or
long ago it
something.
was. I was driving bus 258,
258.
the original Comet bus. It was the only flat nose that was a doghouse engine that the axle stopped halfway through the bus. It wasn't a pusher. It had a doghouse engine. It was one of the older buses that we had out. The clearance lights activated by a pull toggle.
We had a couple of buses like that.
Yeah, but not ones that had flat noses.
And then, like, to turn on the
Yeah.
headlights, it was a kick pedal.
I like that.
The little push thing. You know what I thought was interesting was the old
What are you doing?
Investigating. it.
Okay.
the old motor coach, because the turn signals were kick pedals.
Yes. There.
So if you wanted to turn on the left turn signal, you had to hit the left pedal. If you wanted to use the right turn signal, you had to hit the right pedal.
Yeah, basically dead man switches or pressure plates.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
It was really annoying.
it was because you had to like retrain your mind on how to like signal in traffic, because it's like oh yeah, foot.
So I never drove. I certified people to drive those, but I never actually drove them on a trip. But the driving that I did do on them, when I would never forget to turn on the blinker, but I would immediately forget to take my foot off to turn off the blinker. So I'm just
You're like,
driving.
why is my bus not going?
So I put the blinker on and it's still like blinking, and I'm like 3 miles down the road.
Oh yeah, I gotta move my foot.
Kenny's like, "What's that noise?" Oh, nothing. Don't worry about it. Look, a distraction.
It's I got used to it eventually, but that thing was a lot of fun to drive. I liked the trips. I don't like the way we handled trips at the old company, but I liked the motor coach trips.
Remember that time when it broke down on you?
That has got to be one of the worst breakdowns I've ever been a part of. And I made sure that I was a pretty positive guy throughout the whole experience.
We had a Yermo Studios meeting. I remember we had a Yermo Studios meeting that day. We were sitting down to discuss the abridged series that we were going to do. We were going to take a vote on which abridged series that we were going to try. And you were late, and we couldn't figure out why.
Well, that was an overnight trip. If we're talking about the same one, when I took the motor coach down to Grants Pass, and I broke down, and I dumped coolant all over the road, and I had to wait for them to get a third-party mechanic out there to fix my coolant issue because I had a rubber tube that burst, and so they had to replace the rubber tube, and then they had to replace. And that thing had like 10 gallons of coolant in it.
I thought that was the one that you were late on, because you had another one that broke down and you were late to your Yermo Studios meeting.
I do remember one time. Nope.
Nope, you don't
Nope.
remember? Immediately went out?
No, yeah, that's my story. I don't remember.
Uh-huh. This is just immediate.
And the audience will have to find out another time.
Coming soon to theaters.
there was. I do remember one time I showed up to a meeting back at the Faith Center late. And that's about
Oh,
as much
yes,
information
no.
as I'm going to give on that
I
one.
remember that too.
That's about as much information I'm going to give on that one.
That's gonna have to be some behind the scenes. Your move, some
There's other.
off the rails type of thing. Let's go ahead and put this. Let's go ahead and put this back on the rails before we continue down that path.
Do. Yepers. Couldn't be me.
Just blame it on Gabe.
He was a really nice guy. He's one of the nicest people I know.
He's actually pretty nice. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a very genuinely nice, gregarious guy. If I had to of all the employees we have at the bus barn, he'd be in the top 5. Right there with Rhonda and Cecile.
Yeah. I like him as a driver. I did not like him as a trainer. And it's mostly, I'll tell you why, really quick, just so it doesn't sound like I'm talking crap about him. It's because it was just simply
mad.
because I'm gonna throw something at you.
Smack. What even is that? It's another earring. That'd be funny.
No, oh
You
my
just keep
God.
finding your earrings.
I didn't realize they fell. I'm so sad about it.
No, the only issue that I had with Gabe as a trainer was the inconsistency. Like I would schedule, he wanted to be a training assistant. I would make the schedules, and then 5 minutes before he's supposed to be doing the training, he showed up to drive, and then comes up and says, "Yeah, I can't do that right now." Why? Because I have to go to this breakfast or something like that.
Sometimes people are just airheads and forget.
He sounds like an airhead.
Yeah.
Some
So
people are really strong to the calendar, and if you don't put it on their calendar, it doesn't exist to them.
it was on the calendar. I had a calendar.
I tried.
I did. Before Kenny became a training assistant, I actually had a calendar
Oh, I
written
want
out
that.
with trainers and trainees.
No,
and
I want it.
You want yellow?
No, I want it. I want it. Give.
Oh, my batteries.
You can see those there.
My batteries.
No, you can have it. I won't take it from you.
What? Do you want
It's
yellow or
the-
not?
It's the
No,
techno
okay.
version of
You want
the
yellow or not?
Avatar My Cabbages guy.
It's ready.
My cabbage.
It's right here for you.
I'm
It's
not helping you anymore.
How are you not able to stand up those? Every single one that you have picked up, you have immediately knocked over.
Wait, I don't know. I'm clumsy. I'm tired.
Come on, take it.
I did it.
You wanted the
There you
yellow.
go.
You take the
Good
yellow.
job.
So you can ask
Good
her.
job.
Take the yellow.
No,
Take it.
What was your last yellow?
I don't know, but there's plenty more in here.
Check.
It's the last yellow.
Can't take it then.
Here,
Why?
here's
I don't
the
need it. Yellow,
Yellow.
yellow,
Now I'm
Yellow.
indecisive.
Yellow.
Yellow.
I
yellow,
don't know what
yellow.
to pick.
This one's the chocolate.
I fucking knew it.
Oh!
I freaking knew it.
So Your Move Studios has a no cussing policy.
I'm so sorry, I forgot.
How dare?
I knew you were gonna do that, dog. Pulled it in my soul. It's not yellow though.
Well,
No, you
Shoulda
dropped
got the last
F-bomb.
yellow.
You dropped the F bomb. Now you get orange.
I know, right? It's alright.
now you get orange. Do the colors
what
actually
the
mean a
green
different
is
flavor,
yellow?
or is it like Fruit Loops and it doesn't matter?
I think they actually have different
I
flavors.
think they have a slight different, but it's just.
And who says Fruit Loops doesn't have different flavors?
They don't have a different flavor. They're just colored differently.
Prove it.
Alright, Google.
All right. Your move, TikTok. We're going to have Tony blind test taste Fruit Loops to see if he can discern what color they are.
Wow, that's the first thing. Do Fruit Loops and then it finishes the rest for me. Have different flavors.
They don't.
Your cereal suspicions are confirmed. Each of those delectable loops, regardless of the color, taste the same.
I don't trust Google. They have a liberal bias.
Because
Well,
it's
this
the
is
liberal
about a
agenda to
recipe.
convince you that Fruit Loops don't have different color, different flavors. All right, I'm gonna have you. You're gonna prove it to yourself in front of God and everybody. We're gonna film this on our TikTok, You're going to do blind taste test Fruit Loops. Heck, I'll make you do it against Ian just because I think it'd be funny.
That would
Do
be
it
good.
against Ian.
Yeah, and I'll have you guys compete to see who can get the most correct.
I vote for this.
All right. I also vote for it.
Cool. So we motion passed.
Yeah.
It's Ian's fault for not being here today.
Well, I'm sure he doesn't mind just eating Fruit Loops for a video. You want me to blow your mind?
Chew into the.
Those M&Ms don't have a different flavor because of their color.
I don't want to hear any more of your blasphemous slander.
You know it does have different flavors according to their color? Top Ramen. The packaging.
I don't. Do they?
You don't taste the difference between the flavor packets?
I refuse to eat beef.
Yet she does start beef with many people.
Well, she's not eating it. She's serving it.
She's serving beef. She likes other people's beef.
When we were driving.
That was a funny story. That happened. We were driving along. We come up to a stoplight, and there was somebody in a car next to us arguing, and she was like, "Quick, roll down the windows. I gotta hear what they're saying."
I had to. I was like, I need to hear it. It was so loud, but not loud enough for.
That's amazing.
You live on drama.
Yeah, but I don't want to be involved. I just want to hear about it.
Your hair's gonna turn gray before you're ready. The amount of stress you put yourself through.
Well, that's the American way.
What?
Living on drama. That's the American way.
I do not live on drama. Drama finds me, and then it doesn't like how I deal with it.
You're unpatriotic.
I'm unpatriotic.
Yeah.
I'm unpatriotic. Okay.
I saw the opportunity, and I. My friend texted me and said, "So I did a thing," and then put the little eyes. I don't know how I feel about that.
She probably bought something.
Make sure you put your mic closer to your mouth.
Oh, so sorry.
There you
Nerd.
go. How dare you be so unprofessional on this duct tape production?
I'm so
Duct
used
tape
to
production.
I'm so used to like singing mics, so when I have to put it this close to my face, I feel like I'm like, into it.
Yeah, no, I get that. I do, because when we first got studio mics, I kept telling everyone to keep the mics kind of away.
Yeah.
And then I realized that all of our studio mics suck. And then I got these. These are actually kind of nice, although Kenny hates them.
What, you don't like these?
Because
They're-
headsets are superior.
Okay, well,
They're
that's
kind of,
fair.
you know, I offered you a headset at the beginning of this, and you said no. That's
And he
dumb.
said, I can't afford it. Why are you so expensive?
I'm gonna club you with.
And then I was like, hey, you want to go get
Yes.
lunch? And he's like, dude, I have no money.
I feel that.
That water is instantly boiling right now. You know how funny that would be? The temperature of the water is already steaming.
Every time he takes a sip, it's just steams out of his ears.
He's drinking that water
Don't
pretty
die on
quick,
the
and he's
water.
not swallowing. It's all just steaming.
You're fired, sir.
And there goes the company.
You're not. Yeah, actually, you're not wrong on that one.
Man, it does not feel like it's been half an hour podcast.
40 minutes.
It feels like it's been longer.
Yeah, I think we're just kind of run down for the week. Well, I mean, listen, in all fairness of the podcast, we did kind of open on a somber note, complaining about our job.
It felt like it took forever.
Fun.
Yeah, we played about our job.
So that's no fun.
Well, sometimes our job is no fun.
That's true. But that's life.
Yeah. I usually
It doesn't
take-
have to be, though.
I usually take.
I'm
time
certainly
to-
not making it that way.
I usually take time to complain about my job off of podcasts, but that's because I have other words that I use to describe it.
Yeah. Mike has cigarettes. I have a podcast. If I don't get my thing, there's going to be angry words.
I'm waiting for the day that happens. There was this time. I want to say this story.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
False
there was-
news. Didn't happen.
I don't know if I said this
I'm perfect.
if I told this story
I'm an
on
angel.
a podcast before. Yeah, so
I don't
was
yell.
Lucifer.
My coworkers don't know that side of me. They know nothing about this side of me that you've experienced. I am a good person at work. They would not believe, if you told them a story, they would not believe what you've described to them.
So,
I just can't help but think of like the time that you freaked out when we were watching those videos and you scared me awake.
Oh, we were watching Jacksepticeye, and she was asleep. We were both sitting on the couch, and then there was a jump scare, and I like jerked, and it woke her up, and she jerked, but then she got like,
Me and
she's-
Charlie Horse.
yeah, she woke up and was like, oh, my leg, ah!
I'm so mad at him, but it like wasn't his fault. It scared the bejeebers out of me, and it put me into a Charlie Horse.
So,
He
yeah,
yells.
I don't. I'm perfect. I'm super approachable all the time.
there was this
Super.
there was this time at the old company. The dispatcher and I were talking. We were complaining about, our day drama, the American way. And out of nowhere, because we can hear Kenny talking with another one of our coworkers in the break room.
I don't know what that means.
I was pretending your foot was still there and I was on pinch it.
Oh, so Kenny and another one of our coworkers is talking. We can kind of hear them talking in the break room there. Out of nowhere, Kenny, the guy who we've never heard cuss ever, says, "Effing stop!" Only he used the full word. And for a minute there, the dispatcher and I had to stop, look at each other, and actually ask each other in unison, "Did he just say that?" But then we heard a little bit of giggling in there, and so we thought, oh, okay, he was just messing around. It was still kind of weird. But then he gets up, and he's kind of like got that aggro stance that he does, and he's walking out.
It's like a mini boxed up, but not fully.
Yeah, just like, his shoulders are kind of puffed out, and his elbows are at that. He's
Yeah, it's a little fast walk.
a little fast walk. And we hear him say, "Listen, either you take a nap or I'm knocking you out. But one way, you're going to sleep." And he storms out of the building like that. We're like, "What just happened?" The guy who's nothing but smiles at work all the time. He seems like he would cry over a bunny getting kicked or something like that. Just threatened another driver.
I mean, we threatened with good intent.
It turns out it was good intent because this other driver apparently was having a hard time. He was
He wasn't sleeping. He wasn't choosing to sleep. He would stay up all night and play video games, and he would show up to work.
Dangerous.
He would show up to work tired. So we were joking around with it, and that's how I ended that note.
But it didn't look like a joke to us. We're like, whoa, what
It's the
happened?
quiet ones you have to worry about.
So I'm not this way at work, just so we're clear.
So aggro with the video game.
I've heard a little bit of. I played one round of. It was Outriders. One round of Outriders with him.
Outriders is really fun.
This is the reason why we can't stream gameplay. Because you see a side of Kenny that you're not used to seeing. All right? And I can't control my mouth at all.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be completely R-rated content.
Yes.
That's
Totally.
It's pretty bad,
It is so bad.
unfortunately. But I'm glad that none of my coworkers know that side of me.
Look at that. See, that's called proper mic etiquette. She coughed. She pulled the mic away so people didn't hear it. This smacks the... Just hit him,
You
Ayla,
are
right now.
You are a monster for that. That would drive me nuts.
What?
You know what?
We were doing a-
Quit.
We were doing a D&D podcast. He's our GM.
Oh no!
And he was eating.
He's very animated.
Yeah. He was. Well, I mean, all he was doing was eating. Because he's just the GM, right? So he was just snacking on something. We're having a conversation. I got a text message from one of our coworkers that was listening. It was like, "I love the chewing sounds. It's like I'm actually there."
That's funny.
I was eating. I don't know what I was. I think it was like a bowl of something that she made, or I don't remember. Maybe it was the pizzas, the oven roast.
It was the pizzas.
But I was eating something, and then Mike was like, "Dude, it's like I'm there." And then he got like, "What? You gave Taylor an Orb of Annihilation?"
Whose idea was it to give Taylor the Orb of Annihilation? It's like giving a toddler a box of razor blades saying, "Don't cut yourself."
So she's just running around with a pendant that can summon an Orb of Annihilation on demand
She's only used it like one
Why do
time.
you keep doing that?
because it's funny. Who else can make these sounds with their chest?
Stop.
It's like armpit farts, but with my chest.
It's picking it up. Knock it off. Our audience is listening to this. All two of them.
Yeah, like I can't play like Call of Duty. I get so mad. I get so aggro. I stopped playing last time because we went to clear a room and my teammate shot my character in the back of the head, and I just
Well,
raged.
stop walking in front of guns.
No, they flat out.
I think we found out
went
who the
out of their-
teammate was.
No, they flat out went out of their way to shoot me. We were full on doing the clearing and everything. Just normal stuff. You start and you go. You walk out the door. And they immediately pulled it out and shot me in the back of the head, and everyone else was fine.
So
I went so aggro and I quit the
the
game.
question is why did you shoot Ava in the back of the head?
So in Destiny, you can't kill your teammates. If you shoot and a teammate walks in front of your bullet, they just block the bullet from hitting the enemy. So a teammate can become a barrier
Fortnite's
protecting
the
the
same way.
enemy.
Yeah.
What sucks is when you have grenade launchers, because they will detonate on impact and kill whoever shot them.
You have the area effect, yeah.
So I'm like, I'm gonna DPS the boss, and then I get ready to fire my grenade launcher, thunk, and then the teammate's like, la 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 la, boom, and kills me just because they sidestepped in front of me. They are merciless when it comes to the hitbox on these grenades. If you're in the same zip code as a wall, you are gonna kill yourself. I will fire that grenade launcher, and they will find a way for it to detonate in my face. There could be a gentle breeze. Someone sneezed in the county over.
I gotta start like rotating myself whenever I'm taking a drink here, because one of these days I'm gonna
Spit
ruin
take the laptop.
all of our equipment.
Please go that way.
And then the AC's going and it blows it
No.
out at you.
Gosh.
That'd be bad. It would get all the equipment plus Ayla.
Oh dear.
It would destroy everything.
I have equipment.
Yeah, I don't know how it would ruin your spray or taser. That'd be kind of funny.
It shorts out and just,
No!
I was gonna laugh if I put this on the wrong way.
Can I see it?
Yeah, no problem.
Look at that handheld taser. She tried to tase me with it.
I did not try to.
Did
take
you
it
let
with
her?
it.
No,
Why?
but she tried.
So you have a flashlight function, and then you have your taser function. And I always forget that the taser is the top one, and the flashlight's the bottom one. So it's on. Please be careful.
Oh, I've got this. No worries.
Tase itself.
What does it put out?
I
Electricity.
have no idea. All I know is that it's gonna hurt. But
Do you
have
know
to-
that,
I had,
though? Have you
I
tased
know.
somebody with it?
Yes.
Who?
Dominic.
He volunteered for that?
Yeah, he did. He
I-
did. They literally grabbed my taser and they tased.
Come here, Kenny.
Tased himself.
No.
Oh.
Nuh-uh.
No.
Nope. I care about my body.
So
I don't need nerve damage.
I before I started carrying, I had tasers and whatnot with me because I was homeless at the time. And one of the ones that I had was, it said it put out 9mm on it, and it was disguised as a cell phone. So that was pretty cool. And I remember briefly that I was at this party and we were all drinking, as you know, irresponsible people do. And someone dared me to get tased, and I handed him my taser, which was a mistake because I don't remember the rest of the party.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I was like, all right, we can do this. And I handed it, and I turned away, and then I hit the floor.
Dumb ways to
I'm
die.
pretty sure when I first got this taser, you were like, "You want to tase me with it?"
No, I did not
tried
say
it?
that. You and I remember you showing that to me very differently.
No,
Because you were
we
like a
just talked
wild
about
man swinging that thing around.
it. Sure.
It was like when Sarah, we got those poppets, but they were, you know how fireworks, you have those poppets where you pull the string and it goes
Oh yeah.
out the top. But these ones we got, they put them in like the shape of guns. So the cardboard was in the shape of a gun. They had a little trigger. You push the trigger back, and it made the poppet go.
Yeah.
And your sister Sarah was like, "Oh, what does this do?" And she points it right at my face and pulls the trigger and boom, right in my face with the poppet.
She seems
Like
to have a habit. of
Confetti
anything
and
that
everything. And now it's a
explodes.
running gag for her.
Yeah.
Whenever she finds something that's in the shape of a gun, she's like,
It's
"Oh, what does this do?"
always in
And then she
somebody's-
points it at me.
Let's hope that it's always just something that is in the shape of a gun and not the actual thing.
I don't know if I've ever seen her hold an actual gun. I'm sure she has because Evan has umpteen million. But she's never pointed at a real gun at me, as far as I'm aware.
As far as
Even
you're
when
aware.
she's not paying attention, if she has something that's going to explode, it always hits somebody in the face.
Uh-huh. It could be
My-
a can of biscuits.
One of my little
Yes.
brothers. One of my little brothers was the same way, actually. I remember one of the trips we took to Arkansas. He had, you know, those Roman candles that they shoot out. So we handed him one when he was a kid. We handed him one. We're like, okay, now don't point it at anyone. He goes, what? And points directly at us. We're like, no, not at us. And one gets launched out onto the front porch of my uncle's house, and he immediately realizes the mistake he made. So we're putting it out, and he goes, oh. So he turns around to point it off into the street, straight at a car with their windows rolled down. Just dunk, dunk, dunk. Oh, man.
This is one of those days where you can't do anything right. And you're like, oh no, no, oh no, oh no. Ah! I hate those days.
That was the last time we handed him anything that exploded.
Explosions.
Yes. Yes. Speaking of which, that was also the same year that we almost, you know, the mortars that get launched up.
Mm-hmm.
So we got some of those too, and one of them broke inside the tube. So instead of the way that they are designed is that they have a ball, right, and then
Mhm.
they have a cylinder pocket that shoots the projectile out to launch it upward, right?
Okay.
Instead of going out the bottom of it, it burned a hole through the side. And so it spun around inside of the tube and went out and up about 10 feet and then went back down about 10 feet. And we all just stood there watching it. We were like, oh, cool. And then we realized, oh no, this is about to explode. So we just took off and ran away, and it exploded. We're watching like green streaks go right by our head.
Oh.
I was like, oh no, it's numb all over again. Which my grandpa did not take too kindly to that joke.
My dad, when I was really young, he lit a firework off upside down by accident. Yeah, I don't know how he did it. It's just one of those cylinders where you don't, unless you read it, you don't know which side is up. It's just a cylinder.
How did you light it?
And so, I don't know.
Fuse is
I was
usually at the top.
I don't know. I was a young kid. I was watching him do it. He lit it and then he ran back and we were all looking up at the sky and then boom! And we're like, what the? The neighbors were coming out like, what happened? Oh, we just lit a firework upside down.
You totally did that on purpose.
It was really funny just because like he's lighting it and we're all looking up like, and then doosh!
Disoriented.
What happened? Yeah, the neighbors came out and they're like, what happened? They're like, oh, we blew up a firework. Upside down.
Explosions.
Bang! You know, back when we could have fireworks go up in the air and no one would get mad at you.
Yeah.
I miss those days.
Me too.
We had some pretty good fireworks shows this last year here in town.
Mm-hmm.
You know the one I missed though? My dad and I would call it the thunder banger.
Mm-hmm.
It's the one that flashes. It flashes super bright
Gosh.
and then goes goosh, and it's the loudest firework you've ever heard. We call it thunder banger because it sounds like a thunderclap. And in the Pendleton Valley, it sounds so loud. And I'm sure the reason that they haven't done it in years is the thing. And we were always upset, like, man, they didn't have thunder bangers. Man, they didn't have thunder bangers, and they did it. They did one. They did one this year, and it was awesome. And I think it's because people are complaining it's too loud.
Oh, party poopers.
But I mean, it's the one night a year we get to do fireworks. People are complaining that they're too loud. I mean, to be fair, it is obnoxiously loud. It is loud. It's a thunderclap.
We
It's
should make
the
it the first
4th
one.
of July. Of course, it's loud.
So, but they haven't done thunder bangers the last 3 years. No thunder bangers.
Some people didn't get the memo.
They
apparently.
finally did a thunder
Oh,
banger.
they didn't.
Man,
They
it
turned off
was.
their mailbox from back in
awesome.
1776.
But it looks like a flash. It almost looks like a strobe, kind of like they're doing a flashbang and just go, and then it looks like a dud. Like, oh, that's
no,
it.
I know which one you're
So
talking about.
misleading.
It does. It like flashes. It's like a strobe. It goes. And like, oh, that's all it did. Like, there's nothing. And then, goosh, and you can feel it echo
You
off
just
the canyon
flashbanged.
walls.
First, it's the light. You're like, oh, and then it's the boom after, and you're like, oh.
But the delay is so real because you're like, oh, it's a dud. No, it's not.
And it gets you every time because you never know.
I recognize the light. I
Yeah.
know when it's coming. Like, oh, that's a thunder maker.
Shrink up. Did you see that they had like all the fields were like on fire?
Fire, yeah.
Oh gosh.
So where I live, I actually have like the best view from my yard at it. I was watching it go down. I was like, oh, that's gonna catch fire. My son, my youngest, is ask Kenny. He's all about safety. Kenny doesn't have to do the safety messages anymore. My son will do it. 100%. He stands up on the school buses. He'll tell people that they're supposed to be sitting down. And now he's into firemen. And so he's flipping out because he can see all the flames from our place. And he's yelling at the firefighters to put out the fire. And it's like, buddy, they can't hear you. It's like there's a highway and a river that's blocking us right now.
Those fires were like so close to my work, and I was just like, oh no.
Just around the bend there, yep.
Yeah. Look at those.
Oh, boy, howdy. I was going to say something, and then when you told that story about the fire, I forgot what I was going to talk about.
Haha, I derailed you. Off the rails.
That
Podcast.
is so mean.
Where we go off the
That
rails.
is so mean.
After this podcast, though, I'm going to go down to the carnival, hang out with Josh. Hopefully, he's still down there by the time the podcast is over. But he's in town right now.
Are you saying you want to try to end the podcast early?
I'm not saying anything. Have you seen those TikToks? I sent them to you a couple of times because what they're talking about when they do that, though, is like
I love it.
the things
I
that
love
you
it
talk about.
so much.
They're like, it would really suck for us to have to stay home and not go out.
Intense stare.
Yeah, man. I don't know what it is. I just feel like we would be really letting down our friends if we stayed home.
I follow those guys.
They come up with some pretty goofy things.
They're great. I like just
You're
like
gonna
the
have to
different
send them to me
angles.
so I can see.
Oh my gosh, you'll love it.
And they find different ways to like put their faces on things so that they notice each other. They're like, oh, we should totally not just go home at lunchtime from work today.
And it spams to the mirror and
Yeah.
he's all side-eyeing his
Yeah,
friend.
he's side-eyeing the front through the mirror or like off the reflection of the microwave.
Exactly.
Or one of them opens up their laptop and it's their screensaver.
They're amazing. And I was like, wow, that really is me.
I like the video I sent you where the one person, the firefighter, was coming in and it's like, we gotta save everyone, and they're like, sorry, this lady's too
Yes.
comfortable, she can't move, and so they had to pick up the couch and they had to haul the couch out of the burning building.
We have a snug in a bug.
She's too comfortable to move, so she can't get off the couch, but she's in a burning building.
Don't
so
worry, ma'am, we'll help you.
the firefighters pick up the four corners of the couch and haul her out.
I love that little animation. series. It's
That reminds me of you. Like, nope, I don't want to go anywhere. I'm here now. This is my coffin.
Snug and a bug that's in a rug. Snug as a bug in a rug.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
It's all good in the neighborhood. I don't want to go to work or do anything. Luckily, it's Friday. Oh! Haunting in Venice. Have you guys seen that?
No.
I've seen the trailers for it. I wonder if it's out.
Is this a movie?
Yeah, Haunting in Venice.
To be out.
It's kind of like a spiritual successor. I should say spiritual successor, even though it's got the same actor in it. It doesn't have the same motif, so I don't know if it's actually part of the same series. But A Haunting in Venice is the same detective from Murder on the Nile,
The detective
Murder on the
mustachio.
Orient Express. He's the detective with the mustache. He's the one that tried to figure out who murdered Johnny Depp in the first movie. The Murder on the
Yeah,
Orient
you're gonna
Express.
You're gonna need to pull it up so she can see.
Ooh. A
Just a little uneducated.
Haunting in Venice.
Come on, hurry up. Type faster. We should be done by now.
That guy.
Oh. It's a big
He's a
mustache.
detective in 2 other movies, The Murder on the Orient Express and The Murder on the Nile.
Oh.
In the first one, he tries to
Probably
figure
not
out
what
who
keeps
killed Johnny Depp, and then the second one, he's trying to figure out who killed Gal Gadot. And this one, I guess he's just trying to
I'll watch the
explain
Johnny
a
Depp
haunting,
one.
which
What?
is
I said I'll watch the Johnny Depp one.
totally different.
Not any for a particular reason or anything.
No.
Oh yeah, I totally believe you, 100%. So did you watch Aquaman by chance? Because I watched it 3 times.
I mean, my manager has a poster. This was a gag they did. They put posters all over her office of like just random like bulkiness, like John Cena, and she had Aquaman. Like our manager at the time got on the desk and like taped it to her ceiling, and it's still there to this day. It's Aquaman on top of her, so every time she looks up, she just gets to see a whole lot of Aquaman.
A whole lot of Aquaman. Yeah, I was in a petty mood, and I went to go watch Aquaman a whole bunch of times because I was trying to get it. I wanted it to succeed in the box office.
Like
'Cause-
it needed your help to succeed in the box office.
Well, I wanted to make sure because I got into
My 3 tickets is gonna kick it over the
my
edge.
friend Evan was like, that wasn't a good movie. And I was like, that's going to be a great movie. And then I went and saw it a whole bunch of times. And then it breached the top 10 highest grossing films. And I was like, suck it,
That was
Evan.
100% just because of you and your 3 times you go.
Well, I was part of the solution. I am a pebble in that mountain. Okay.
I don't even like think I only remember like some parts of the movie. I
It's
watched it
playing! It's playing tonight!
tonight.
9:20.
Sir, I cannot go with you tonight
Why?
because I actually have to work in the morning.
Use a bomb.
You is, in fact, a bum.
But I'm not. Bums don't have jobs. I do.
Also, I'd probably be paying for the tickets, so.
No.
Wow.
That is so rude.
I mean, he's also not wrong. So
It depends on.
Oh, I don't know who popped the
the
tickets last time.
I did.
See?
Yeah, I did. Last time I got the tickets and the snacks.
He got me a Dr. Pepper when I was walking in with a Dr. Pepper. It was funny.
Yeah. I was
I was like, is that Dr. Pepper for me? And he's like, yeah. And I had like a Dr. Pepper.
He like holds up a bottle of Dr. Pepper. I was like, oh look, you got yourself a refill.
I finished that Dr. Pepper yesterday, by the way. I had that Dr. Pepper for a while. Because I never drank it while we were in the theater, so when I came home, it was in the fridge. And then I took it over to Hermiston.
Oh, that was Equalizer 3. I was
Yes.
trying to figure out which. That was
Yeah.
such a forgettable movie.
We watched it. The beginning was like, this is good. And then it goes way
Is this the
down.
race car one you were talking about?
No, that's
or-
Gran Turismo.
I
That
heard
was
that was
decent. That was
better.
decent. That was a fairly good
Mhm.
movie. Equalizer was like, this is good. This is good. And then like a sheer fall.
Oh. it's
Yeah,
just
around the second act, it just.
Tanked.
Yeah.
And it pulled the front with it. It was like a train going off of a cliff, like, the train, no! And then like the passengers of the caboose were like, no! As the train pulls it off.
Sounds like a bunch of bums.
It sounds like if you're in the back of a roller coaster and you just don't know it yet because the front of the cart is going off of the edge of the fall from a roller coaster. So the guy in the very back is like, no, 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 no. And he's feeling all the speed of the guy in the front, but he's on a flat plane. So it's like, no.
The longest one.
It is. It's the guy that gets the whiplash because the guy in the front is like tick, 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 tick. Yeah. And he's going straight down and he's got all the wind in his face. And the guy in the very back's like, hey, I can see my house from here. Because he doesn't know that the front has gone off the edge yet. He just gets flung off the flat end. Hunting in Venice is playing at Wild Horse. So is Strays. I don't know if the humor's good enough.
Don't go watch Strays.
My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3 is playing. I haven't seen the other
that's
ones.
actually a
Wasn't
thing. I
even
thought people were
aware
making jokes about that. That
I
makes me
wasn't
really
aware
excited.
that was a movie that was being made.
Yep. I'm not going to go watch it.
I have never
Yeah,
heard
that's the thing.
anything about it.
Why is Jurassic Park playing?
What?
Jurassic Park is playing at Wild Horse at 9:30.
The,
Like the
Like the
original
first
or
one?
like the most recent
That's
one?
just what it says. Like, I'm looking at the listings, and it's right at the very bottom, Jurassic Park.
go click on
Click
it and
on
see
it.
which one it is.
Give us the knowledge.
Jurassic Park.
It's just so it's got to be the original, huh?
It just says
That sounds that's
Jurassic
weird.
Park.
I don't know if
Good
they've
one, though.
done. They haven't like done something like that in a while, right? They haven't like done replays of old movies.
No, they do that.
they just do that when people are at work.
Yeah, from what I
Bums.
understand, they do that like every once a month. Now they'll do like Nick posted the guy at Spirit Man Studios. He posted a thing on Facebook that him and his younger brother person was going to watch Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows.
I always wanted to watch that in theaters.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed. My siblings get like my younger siblings, especially the youngest one, gets so mad at me around Christmas time because that's all I'd ever watch was Harry Potter. Every time it was on, boom, I was watching it.
I bought the whole collection for my wife.
Yes.
Yeah, all of it.
Absolutely.
And the extended, and
Yep.
the Lord of the Rings extended too.
Yep. Exactly.
Because I've
Good
got
man.
12 hours to kill.
Yes. You may not, but we do.
Yeah. So I would much rather go over the Lord of the Rings, the Harry Potter, and all that stuff. But what does she do? No, she puts on Twilight.
Twilight.
I
Okay.
got her all of the Twilights too.
I like the Twilights. They definitely could have done some stuff differently.
You know what's crazy?
I can't stand the Twilights.
No.
I yell over my daughter, my oldest daughter's like, it's such a good love story. It's like, no, it's not. If that's your gauge to love, then your parent, your stepmom and I have failed you.
So, you guys know about the drop zone
You
at the
have to
carnival,
look
right?
at the big picture. Yes. No.
The what?
I have a love-hate relationship with the drop zone because it scares
Yeah.
me, but then when I get off it, it's like, that was a lot of fun. And then, like, I can't turn around and get back on it because I'm too scared to do it. But, like, when I experience it, yeah, you just go whew, straight to the bottom.
Okay, yeah,
like,
no.
I can ride it, but it takes a lot of prep. I go like,
Yep.
I can do it.
Exactly.
My brother Joey, absolutely terrified of it, doesn't want anything to do with it. My youngest brother
Jakey.
has no fear. This is his first time. He's just like, hey, Mom, I want to ride that. And then gets in line, gets strapped in. He's not crying. He's not whining. He's like, I don't want to do this anymore. He's like, see you later.
You gotta be watchful of that one.
He's just built different.
He's just
He's my flesh and blood. And he has no fear of the drop zone.
Oh, no,
He is a
there's-
little kid. He is so
When
young.
it gets right here, I start like feeling heavy in my chest, and I'm like scrunching up. Like as soon as it gets to the top, and then it stops.
It's that
and
second
I
tick.
freeze. Yeah.
It's tick, and then on the second tick, it falls.
Yeah.
So I I have a suspicion as to why that is with certain people, why they can't stand rides like the drop zone and whatnot.
That's my dad in the background laughing at his face when he comes down like,
He's like, wait a minute, I'm traumatized.
It's because the kids that really like the drop zone is because they were never dropped as a child.
oh, sure.
So it was like I'm pretty sure that's
so
what
they're
it is.
trusting and they have faith.
Yeah,
they're like,
they're like,
nothing,
it's gonna be
nothing
fine.
wrong's
Nothing's
gonna
ever
happen
been
right
done
now.
wrong.
And then they're like, I was never prepared for this.
Not to me.
My oldest boy used to be very trusting like that. Like I'd get him on my shoulders. We'd do like this little rodeo thing where I'd rock back and forth, and he would do that. I moved away for a couple of months to Portland for work, and he stayed with my parents. They'd take him to church every Sunday. My mom was not aware that rodeo was a thing that we did. So she puts him on her shoulders
Oh no.
in church in the foyer, and it's concrete floor. Like it's got the tiniest little. Kenny, you remember the carpeting in the foyer in the lobby of the church? It's like the tiniest little. You could have put like construction paper down, and it would have been thicker. And so he gets on the shoulders. My mom puts him on her shoulders, and she reaches out to get something from somebody, and he throws himself back, thinking that they're doing rodeo. She has no way to grab a hold of him. He goes straight down. Ever since then, terrified.
Oh dear.
Yeah, he hates being on people's shoulders.
Your mom
He hates getting on
ruined
the
that
drums.
for
She did. She did. My mom ruined everything.
She created trust issues
She
right
did.
then and there.
She did. It's like, Mom, can we not do this for a generation, please?
And your grandma dropped me. Grandma didn't know what was going on. Oh, grandma.
But he actually did get on the drop zone eventually.
Nerd. Hey, did you know that Google is now 25 years old, so therefore Leonardo DiCaprio is switching to Bing?
I like it.
Google's older than me.
I'm sure he loves those jokes.
I mean, if he doesn't, then don't perpetuate the cycle, DiCaprio.
I find that hilarious. Dumb ways to die.
So you two are older than Google.
There is, yes.
I am. I think the internet is just a few years older than I am, actually. Look that up, would you? Fact check me on this.
Ava?
How old is the internet? Me, I'll date myself online. I don't care. Everyone knows I'm the oldest guy here. I'm like, you know that picture of Gandalf when he's hanging out with Merry and Pippin behind the scenes of Lord of the Rings? That's basically your Move Studios meeting. Only
Yeah.
the size difference. There's a noticeable size difference. If Gandalf had to be, all right, Gimli hanging out with the hobbits. That's more accurate.
His weird gay relationship with Legolas is weird.
January 1st, 1983
What?
is considered the official birthday of the internet.
What did you just invent? What did you say, Ava?
There was
It said January 1st, 1983 is considered the official birthday of the internet.
so it's got
1983.
like 4 years on me. That's
I,
the same year my brother was born. My
You know
brother's
what's weird?
the same age as the internet. And you know what? They've never been seen in the same room together. I think my brother's the internet.
So, it's weird getting trainees that are younger than me.
Yeah, tell me how that is.
Because I joined the company when I was 19. I've been driving since I could work a job legally. So to get the trainees like the one that I just had that are younger than me, it's like, that's weird.
That was like almost all of my trainees have been younger than me. I'll tell you what's weird to me is when I get a trainee that's older than me.
We got plenty of
And-
those.
And well, I didn't train all of them. Most of them have actually been trained prior to me becoming a trainer. But when I get a trainer that's older than me and an experienced driver, and they have to go through everything all over again with me, that is awkward. Especially when one of them was a trainer, and I have to retrain this trainer how to drive a school bus.
Who did we have that was a trainer that we had to retrain
It was...
besides Gabe?
No, it wasn't Gabe. Oh wait, we did have to retrain Gabe.
Yeah.
Well, no, that was
That must have been the easiest training of your career, though.
No, actually, it wasn't. Surprisingly,
How is he difficult?
drive wise, he was great. Drive wise, he does great. Railroad crossing, student stops, all that stuff was great. His pre-trip training, on the other hand,
To be fair, like I previously said on the podcast, I think most of our employees are not up to snuff on their pre-trip.
yeah, I think I would say if I was to put a professional spin on it, I would say he was actually more nervous than anything else, and that's what really tweaked with him, was being nervous. And I don't know why he was nervous, because it was me that was training him.
Hmm.
But
Well, like when you've done something for a long time and then you come back and you're like, oh, you have to get retrained. You're like, man, I know most of this stuff. And now I'm getting retrained. It's kind of just like, oh. And by this guy.
yeah. I think Alan was a trainer.
You think Alan was a trainer?
Yeah, I think Alan was a
I
trainer.
don't recall him being a trainer.
He worked for the old company, and I think he said
Yeah, a
he was-
long time ago.
Yeah, I think he said he was a trainer.
He never told me he was a
I know
trainer.
he said his wife was a third-party examiner.
I don't recall him saying to me that. In my time with him, he never told me he was a trainer.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he didn't want to share that.
I don't know. I feel like it would have came up. It was pretty relevant.
He talks about it all the time. That guy does not know how to not talk about things. He just
I never had a
rambles
problem
on.
with him.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not having a problem. I'm just stating the obvious that he
Yeah.
just rambled with me when I worked with him.
Well, given like what we were told about him before we got to see him or experience him, I never really had a problem with him.
Neither
So,
did I.
I'm not a fan of the perpetuation that our work seems to come up with on people.
The prejudgment or the
Yeah, it's just
Not
like it
per- it's
happens
not-
all the time.
not a perpetuation, but more of the it has something to do with perceiving. What's the word I'm looking for?
Perception.
Yeah, maybe, possibly. Yes, that is it. I are smart. I got a
Yar.
gid. I received a gid.
We have too much as a company. We have too much faith in the peanut gallery instead of just asking people simple questions. It's not fun.
Who's the peanut gallery? Who are you referring to?
The peanut gallery. That's who I'm referring to.
Who are you referring to that has too much faith in them?
Yeah, later.
It's easy to just listen to a fast lie than the long truth. It'll always be that way.
So our company has too much faith in the peanut gallery and not enough gall to actually ask, "Hey, what happened?" Or "Did this happen?"
I don't know. I heard what they said was going on, and I was like, okay, well, that is what they had, and I will do what I do. And I didn't have any issues with them.
When I was over there, like I have nothing wrong with the trainer that was over there. He's actually said some pretty funny things. Like every time someone walks in the door, he tries to get everyone to clap. So when they walk in, we're all like, yeah, I find that joke hilarious. But he does take a moment every once in a while and come over and ask me a question about buses or whatnot. And I think that's pretty cool because if he doesn't know, he's at least willing to admit he doesn't know and then come over and ask for clarification on it.
Oh, I love it when people they admit hey, I know, I just know I'm wrong. Can you please help me?
So
Take accountability.
I don't think that makes him a bad trainer. I think that makes him good. Like he doesn't know this thing, and then he walks over to me with my training, and he's like, "Hey, I don't know this. What's this thing about?"
That does make him good.
And I
Because-
mean, we went to the same class. I don't remember him being there, but I was told he was part of my class to get state certified.
Yeah, that is good. I like that when people do that. When trainers do that, they go and they ask questions. What I don't like is when they blatantly lie about something. And I've caught this same guy doing that, spinning spinning stuff about me. I've got my own issues with him for that, but I don't let it get in the way of work. You can't do that. If work is work, you can leave your personal gripe about things outside.
Yeah. It's nice being a trainer when you can just have your trainee and you train them. Outside influences are no fun. Especially when those outside influences come from people that are supposed to be higher up in the company. Constantly. If one of them would just walk around with me and experience a day, I'm sure their tune would change entirely. Instead of what they think they know about me and actually just going out there and being with me when I train, I think they would change their mind.
No, actually, I think it works now.
They go out there most of the day. This is actually far worse than I thought it was.
Man, this guy just sucks.
I gotta pull his trainer certificate.
He's actually beating these kids with other kids.
Can they? Does this even?
I so wish the audience could have heard that last
I
time.
know. He
I
makes these
don't.
little-
That was awful.
He makes these little comments, and I'm like, "You should be on here." And he's like,
He's been on here before.
Yeah, we've had him step in.
"Almost about relief." They're looking at me a little too much.
Oh, sure. Sure.
I still stand by the statement that that at the Pendleton that we've got the best trainers. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, I would compete against other people. I wouldn't mind competing in a bus rodeo. That'd be kind of cool.
They have those. That's a real thing.
Oh
He's
my
not
goodness.
joking.
I'm not. I'm just.
Where does the bus like down on like the strip?
Oh, RJ, you are so uneducated.
Buses bite.
It goes.
That's a
across-
big stirrup.
It goes across the grill. Right across.
knew it.
It
They
goes
do
right
have
across
teeth.
the grill.
They do have teeth.
They do have teeth. They've been lying to us this whole time. Cars can talk.
They hook on the tow hooks.
They toe hooks. The toe hooks, you say? Okay.
The tow hooks, but you have to make sure that they are what, Kenny?
Properly mounted and secured.
And
For the toe hooks?
The toe
Oh,
hooks.
no bends, nuts, or cracks.
there you go. Not cracked, broken, or missing.
I'm stuck.
Or plotting various war crimes.
I still, you
Uh-oh.
do. This is what we need to do, okay? For what are you?
What's wrong with the way I wear the headphones?
You look like it's like one of those
Dude,
sideways
I look
hats.
down at my phone for 1 second to say a sentence. I come up and you're wearing your headphones like you.
This is a day-to-day occurrence with everything.
Dude, you look.
They move stuff. They
it's-
like.
Dude,
Are you
it looks
cleaning?
like you're the '80s version of Geordi from Star Trek. Okay,
They
caught me off guard completely.
It looks
they
like,
constantly move stuff all the time.
I still don't know where the pickle is. I've stopped
I
looking
don't know
for
where
it.
the pickle's at either. Okay, and the story behind the pickle, I saw this like TikTok videos where people were hiding stuff behind the house and they had a pickle, and I was telling them about it, and RJ goes, "Oh, I have a pickle. I have a pickle ornament," and I was like, "That's perfect." And so we were hiding the pickle around the house, and every time we would have to, when we find it, we'd have to re-hide it. And now nobody knows where the freaking pickle's at.
You know where.
in itself, it's
you
gone.
know where it's not?
Hmm.
On the floor, because Kenny would have stepped on it by now.
So sad about my earring.
Don't leave your earrings on the floor.
I didn't mean to. I must have dropped
I didn't
them
mean to
out.
just walk on
no,
it.
No, you went out of your way deliberately.
Oh, yeah. I was like, she's going to learn to do it.
Anyways, what I was saying was what we totally need to do.
I should have, like, before you looked up, I should have been like, that way you wouldn't get to your story.
what we need to do is we need to rent a bus and actually do that zombie pre-trip video. That would be amazing.
I don't want to pay money to do that video now. I just think corporate needs to get
They're not gonna do it.
a sense of humor.
They're not gonna do
We're
it.
losing our bus names.
What? What do you
Because they have
mean?
no sense of humor. There's no fun. No fun. There's rules against it. Sure. Yeah, absolutely. There's rules against having a name on a bus. Cool. Whatever.
Like Garfield?
Yeah. Like I'm not gonna be known as Loki anymore. I'm Route 5.
That makes me sad because my cat's name is Loki and you need to represent.
So I
none
don't-
of the schools so far. None of the schools are actually on board because that policy has gone into effect this year, and so we have.
they have
no
a hard
bus
time
names.
figuring it out because they just ask us what our names are instead of our number.
Yeah, what
Because
bus
they don't know us by numbers. They know us by names.
Yeah. What bus are you? And I look at them and say, I'm Route 17. They're like, okay, but what's your name? My name's Tony, and I'm Route 17. No, what's your bus's name? Lady, I'm trying hard not to get fired.
You mean
I'm
my
Loki.
number?
I dress my kids as Loki still. I say, welcome aboard, Loki. This is Loki route. I'm the only
It's
person.
for the kids.
I'm the
Like,
only person that does this route outside of Abasai,
what is going
who I
on?
trained for that route. You know what was funny? When I said that to Abasai, I was like, all right, I'm going to take you to every school. And then the one school I never took him to was Nikiawa. I was like, you're never going to go there. I'm the only person that goes there. He's
And
the
then,
guy
like-
that does my route.
Like the first week it's open.
And then he's done my route since the beginning of school. He's been doing Nikiawe. It's the one school I never took him to when he was my trainee.
That's so
And then he
funny.
takes over my route when I'm gone in Hermiston for 3 weeks.
I am stuck to the chair.
What are you doing?
I don't know.
Getting stuck to the chair.
Here, I'll see what I can do. Oh, this is funny. Your belt loop, or not your belt loop, but your belt.
It would have been
Shifted
hilarious.
over the top of
It
it.
would have been hilarious if it was her taser.
No.
No, it's to the side.
Is this like dang you autocorrect stuff? Is it appropriate? Ava, filter.
Oh, it's fine. It's just a work-related joke.
Hey, how are you doing? Do you rent tables and chairs? We do. Just folding chairs, nothing fancy, lol. And tables 6 to 8 rectangular. Sorry, I didn't hear back from you, so I got them.
Every single message
And it's
is
a minute apart. Yes, you are factual about that. It is so frustrating how impatient some people are. Oh, I don't care if this thing is a whole year away. I need answers now. I'm like, well, I'm so sorry. I have other things that are happening right now that I have to handle first. I will get to you soon. Get to you soon.
Bummer. Customer care.
Bunch of bums.
Bunch of bums.
Bunch of bums.
People can be frustrating because they don't know the whole truth. They just know their perception and they think that we're a-holes for it.
Yeah,
You get-
customer service is a real backhand.
You just gotta not let it get to you because you understand they don't know the truth, and you can't get upset with someone. Or at least I choose not to get upset with people that either choose or inadvertently don't know the whole story. So
Yeah, but if you choose to just be negative, I mean.
I can let a lot of things slide. Like even the dispatcher over in the other town, the dispatcher over at our new site, she even described me as being someone that doesn't get frustrated at customers. She's like, you are definitely the kind of guy that sits there with your stop sign out and like just dancing up and down the aisleway with your kids.
Yeah. That is 100%. Kenny does not care.
I'm a different person at work. No one has ever seen me really angry. I am the guy that doesn't cuss. It's
He gets so mad. It's like scary mad with how loud he gets at his games.
Oh no, I've heard it.
Just becomes a monster.
I was sitting at my desk at the old company. I was sitting at my desk and I was working, scheduling tests, doing file work, things like that. He borrowed our dispatcher's desk to check on his personal stuff. And he got so mad because it wasn't working the way it was, and he was pounding on the desk so hard that things were jumping. And he would look at me and he'd be
was
like,
petting the
"It's
desk."
mine and I want it." And I was like, "Bro, I didn't take it. I'm sorry. I don't
that
know
was
what to do."
that was when they locked me out of my tax returns.
Oh God. Oh, Was that around the same time I helped you?
No, that was different. I just needed something printed off.
Yeah.
No, that year I tried logging in to get my tax returns, and I don't know, something happened and it kicked me back, and so I tried it again, and it said too many attempts. You're gonna have to call, and so I called, and the first person I called after waiting for like 15 minutes in the call log, they answered the phone. They're like, "Hello," and I was like, "Oh, hey, thanks," and they're like, "Hello, hello, sir,
You gotta be kidding me.
someone," and then they hung up on
Wait,
me.
did they really say hello, sir?
I don't know. I just threw that in there. I
was
don't know
like,
if they said sir.
If they did,
But,
they totally heard you.
So then I had to wait through the call log again because that person never answered me. And finally, when someone got back to me, I said, "Please don't hang up." And they're like, "All right, I'm not going to hang up." And I was like, "Oh, thank you. You can hear me." And I had to go notarize my signature in order to access my tax returns because apparently I was denied access for too many attempts to log in or something. So I had to notarize my own signature. When I went down to the guy at the courthouse to get my signature notarized, he's like, "I've never had this happen before. I don't know." And he's like, he gave me a notepad and he's like, "Write your signature." And then he pulled out my driver's license. He's like, "Yeah, it looks the same. Cool. You're good to go there, dude."
Wow, that's a really long, like.
And then I got my tax returns.
But yeah, he was pounding on the table and he was screaming and yet saying it's dumb. He was looking around and he goes, "It's mine and I want it."
It's my money.
And I was looking. I was like, "Dude, I didn't do it."
8770 need cash now.
Today.
I want.
Yeah, it's the whole time. The whole time I was saying that. That's all I could hear.
My money.
I want it now.
I was trying to tell him to calm down. I almost did. I was
Never do
about,
that.
I was about to tell him to calm down, and then I realized, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, no.
This is a guy who is genuine. This guy is generally calm and happy, and he is now
You
mad.
did
I am
pretty
not
good.
about to poke the rabbit squirrel.
Yeah, you did pretty good when your PlayStation got hacked into.
What?
Yeah.
He's
What?
pretty good. Yeah, he did pretty good.
I did get mad.
Bro, you got hacked?
Yeah, but you did pretty good.
Yeah, I got hacked. Someone bought a bunch of things on my account.
Yeah, like just.
Wait, I remember you telling me about this.
Yeah.
This wasn't too long ago.
Someone bought hundreds of dollars worth of stuff on my account and transferred it to their PlayStation 5.
Yeah,
But,
you and I were we were on our way to lunch when you told me this story.
For the audience at home, could you like describe all of your personal information?
Yeah, we're gonna need
We
your
need your email. We need the password to
your
it.
account
What's
information,
your
please.
PlayStation's like login info? Maybe that guy
Make sure you
can
speak
grab
slowly.
stuff again.
And
Yep.
spell it out to clarify, please.
They worked pretty fast though. I was surprised like when you were able to get a hold of somebody. It was just kind of like boom, all right, we're done.
They fixed it already. So,
Yeah.
So my identity got stolen. And there's a
More
guy.
serious than PlayStation.
My identity got stolen, and there's a guy out there who is the dumbest, unluckiest identity thief person.
Thief. Thief.
Words, okay. Can you stop chewing and fill in the blanks for me, please? There's-
Identity theft?
Yeah, the guy who's doing the thefting.
The guy who stole your identity.
Yeah, the guy who stole. Yeah, he's the unluckiest identity stealer ever because he stole my identity. And the only thing you can really do with as crappy of the financial decisions that I've made in my life is file for unemployment, which he does weekly. Files for unemployment, and he gets denied weekly. And I know this because I get the letters that he's still trying to claim for unemployment, but I work all the time. You can ask Kenny. I hardly ever not work. So it's being reported.
Why hasn't this been resolved already?
I don't know, because I called Robert at the unemployment office. His name was Robert, I remember.
Well, Robert sucks at his job.
Yeah, and he was like, yeah, I'm going to make a note. He says, I'm going to put a freeze on this. I'm
Oh,
going
I'm
to
gonna
make
make
a
a
note.
note. Okay.
Put a freeze on it. It'll be fine. I'll get my team on it. That was 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Robert sucks at his job. He's
Robert
like, I need
sucks.
something good to happen because this ain't gonna do the paycheck for me.
I think Robert's the one doing it.
Robert sees you coming. He's like, this guy has to like just only play video games.
He routes your number through the call center to him specifically.
Only himself. He's all
And
listening.
that's how
to
he
this,
gets
and
away
he's
with
like,
all
I
this.
don't know how I did it, but I got like a pop blister on my elbow
Oh.
on your table, bro.
Why'd you have to go and do that?
I don't know.
That's gross.
Like, it was fine until I got here, and then now it's not fine.
Out of here.
Listen, I'm gonna need you to take care of this for me.
Give him.
All right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because it was your table,
Oh okay.
so you're responsible.
abracadabra.
I need you to get over here and fix my boo-boo.
I just said abracadabra. Okay.
That doesn't do it. I need Hello Kitty Band-Aids.
How about thoughts and prayers? Can you do thoughts and prayers?
Only if you change your profile pic.
See, changing the world. We're changing the world, aren't we?
I mean, we can draw cats on it.
Do you actually want
I don't actually want a Band-Aid.
Are you
I'm
sure?
36 years old.
I don't want you.
You know how
leaking
cool the
everywhere.
first aid station is at our job?
You're not now, but it sure went everywhere. I'm sure.
No, it's nowhere. See,
Yucky.
it's fine.
I don't know that. You could have wiped it away.
I put them on even when I don't have an actual thing.
Oh, you're wasteful.
Yeah.
No, it's because my skin flakes up, and if I don't, then something else will grab it and just rip.
You should.
So I just
Lotion.
Moisturize.
Lotion.
That actually happens to me a lot because I don't know why, honestly. But I get like liquid bandage. You just put a little dab there on the what are these called?
cuticles.
Cuticles. Thank you. You put a little dab
I
there
almost said
and
something different.
there for a while, and it'll help.
They're liquid band-aids.
Yeah,
Just like,
yeah. There's a liquid bandage.
yeah, you could use those.
I have like 3 boxes of these, like the giant boxes, just under my TV.
You should save them for an
Constantly doing
emergency.
something. His life is an emergency. What do you mean?
It's falling apart.
Hey, Tony is really quiet and echoing. I did a quality check on this earlier. It's probably because I didn't have the mic up to my face.
Quiet and
I don't know,
echoey.
it's Too close.
It could be that we're too close.
Way to go. Let you on the podcast and everything falls apart.
Let me just handed me the mic.
I did just hand her the mic.
You're like, here, and then as you went to turn on the other one, I was like, oh, okay.
Well, we just wanted the audience to hear what you had to say, and then you didn't leave.
I can leave.
No, it's not that we want you to leave. It's just that you didn't. And so, like, all right, she's part of the podcast now. This is happening. Beautiful. And that's when a star was born. Wow.
This is ridiculous.
What?
I'm stuck again.
Why do you keep doing that? You just keep
Is it up or
looping your
down?
belt. You need to pull your belt up.
Oh, thank you.
Do it again.
No. I don't know how I
I-
managed
Do
to
it
do
again, do
I
it
have
again,
no
do it
idea
again,
how
do
to
it
do
again,
it.
do it again, do it again.
I'll clip it.
No. No.
You ever watched
No.
Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends?
Yes, absolutely.
You remember Cheese?
Yes.
Do it again, do it again, do it again, do
Yeah,
it again,
that's
do it again, do it again.
exactly where, yep.
Wee ah, wee ah.
Me.
I like cereal. See, and I like
cereal.
see, and I like potatoes. I like cereal. See, and I like potatoes. I like cereal. See, and I like potatoes. I like cereal.
I liked. It was so cute. I like potatoes.
See, and I like potatoes. Bunnies, hot rod flames, bunnies, hot rod flames, bunnies, hot rod flames, flaming bunnies. Flaming bunnies.
Long childhood memories.
I love that episode. My mom loved that episode. She thought that episode was hilarious. Together you are mac and cheese. What about with blue? Oh, well then he's blue cheese.
Blue cheese. If you please.
I remember when Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends first came out as a show. I remember seeing it when it first popped up. Like, this is a new show. I don't like this new show. Now I love this new show. Yeah, when I first saw it, I was a kid. I was like, I don't like change. I don't need this new show.
Which is
I like
nonsense.
my old shows. Leave me alone with my Scooby Doo. And then I was like, oh, this show is hilarious. Foster Home for Imaginary Friends is amazing. I was super okay with it after the first 2 episodes. But when it first came out, I was like, no, I don't want this. And I remember it was on Channel 25, Cartoon Network. I had this little box TV. It was this itty bitty little TV. I had it in my room, and I played a lot of games. It's one of those things where, like, I don't think it'd be weird for me now. Just like if I was a kid, it'd be weird to be playing a game on a screen that big, like I have here in my living room.
Yeah.
But as a kid, it was like, this is the world. The world could fit in like a 4x4 box. And then now it's like, can you see everything on that? Like at some point, I was so accustomed to that it was easy. I could play Mario Party 5 all day. I could play my TMNT game all day. All my Legend of Zelda games, GameCube. It was good, flawless. And now it's like, if I don't even sit the appropriate
There, I
distance
think I
that I'm
fixed it
used
now.
to on a TV, I even play funny. So you just get used to certain things, and if you don't play the way that you're used to, then it really fundamentally changes your proficiency. One of the hardest things I ever did, and I overcame it now, and I'm really good with it, but when I was getting into MLG, which is Major League Gaming, I was competing all the time in Halo, and I was making money. I was actually making money playing Halo. I was that good. And
Were you talking about at the Halo tournaments?
yes. And I remember that's the only reason my mom would send me. Otherwise, she wasn't a fan of them. Is because I was winning and I was making money. And one of the things I was told, because I went and played a guy, I was visiting my brother in Baker. And I played a guy, and he was really good. He was phenomenally good. His gamer tag was Jester Snipes. And I was playing against him, and he was whooping me up and down. I just, no way about it. I couldn't defeat him. And I was like, I don't get how you're doing these things. And one of the tips he told me about was like proficiency with the ergonomics of a controller. The right thumbstick is typically the one you use to control your aiming. Right. Your right thumbstick. But also A or X on PlayStation, that's your jump button most of the time. So if you want to jump around and aim, you can't do them simultaneously. Ergonomically, you cannot. So he's like, you need to figure out how to be a good player on bumper jumper. So I now am proficient and I can play normally, and this is how I like it now. Left bumper is my jump button now.
That's pretty cool.
Believe it or not. And I've never seen anyone, like Josh came over the other day and he was playing on my controller, and I have mine. I don't pick a certain thing, except for like sometimes I'll just default it to bumper jumper, which is the actual name of a controller layout.
Yeah.
But I like to make my own custom layout on games. He tried playing on my controller and he's like, I don't get how you do things. How do you function? This is like, your controller's neurodivergent.
Neurodivergent. When I ran on Halo, I used to run on Boxer.
Boxer, so you like the bumpers to be your melee?
No, so it was the trigger actually. That was the melee.
Oh.
On Boxer, and that's the way that I ran with it, because I didn't do a whole lot of, like, I could jump and like aim and stuff, but melee was B, right? Well, I couldn't aim and melee somebody because it takes your thumb off of the aiming stick to have to melee. So I switched to Boxer, and I just walked around beating people to death like that. They're like, I don't understand how you can hit. And I was like, it's literally a setting. It's Boxer.
It's literally a setting.
Yeah,
That's
like,
why
I didn't
got so
even
good
do
at
it.
That's why I got so good at bumper jumper, which is weird because in bumper jumper, when I was first introduced to it, it was obviously a hard uptake because I kept hitting A to jump, and it would just switch my grenades. I was like, oh, I'm not using frag, I'm using plasma. And then I was like, and then I would fall into the abyss. Because I didn't jump. I would just switch the grenades that I had loaded. So it takes a long time. Now in Destiny, I've got it all figured out how I like it. Right bumper is my melee. Here's the real funny part. Right thumbstick is throw grenade. So I'm aiming, throw grenade.
You know what? That actually does make
But
sense.
what I like about having melee as my right bumper is that I have it set for auto melee. So I just hold down the right bumper and my guy just goes, huh, 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 huh. It's just constantly. There's a new weapon in Destiny called the glaive. So you just hold this long bladed weapon like a staff and you just go, huh, huh, and you're just thrusting it forward as you go. And so I love holding down the right bumper and just go, just
poking
cutting
someone to death.
poking people all the way through, just constantly poking. Left bumper is still my jump. Left is aim. Left trigger is aim. Right trigger is fire. The A button, or for me it's X.
The internet needs to take notes. This is how you're going to take down Kenny.
X or A on your Xbox players, for me is not jump because that's my left bumper. That's my super. So when Josh was like, all right, I'm going to go get this guy, and he goes to jump over him and then just Nova Bomb. Like, oh, I didn't want to do that. You wasted my super on some grunt.
That sucks.
So it was definitely like a hard uptake, even just switching, because what I did is I switched melee and grenade, because grenade was supposed to be right bumper and then melee was supposed to be right thumbstick. That's how the default game is, but I switched them because I needed to be quicker with my melee, so I made melee right bumper. And the grenade, you don't need to be quick on the throw on grenade because there's travel time on grenade, so even if you're a quick draw on grenade, you could still die by the time it travels out, because your guy's like whipping a grenade out. So I don't need to be quick on grenade, I need to be quick on melee, so I switched them. But then for like the first couple of days I did that, I was like trying to like melee somebody with my grenade. And then I was like, throw a grenade, and I'm like,
Oh, no.
I just poked him with this glaive. That's my build on Destiny 2, though. I'm one of those weirdos that likes to use Winter's Guile. It's an exotic arm gauntlet, so to speak. And what its power is that every time you defeat someone with a melee attack, you get a stack of Guile, and every time you get a stack, it increases your melee damage up to 5 times. And when you melee, when you're holding a glaive, because actually glaives shoot people in that game, you can fire the glaive. But if you melee with it, you get to poke them instead of punching. You just poke them. It still counts as a melee attack, though, but the game registers it with more damage than your normal punch. So I go around poking people, I get a stack of Guile, and then I keep building up that stack. And then the particular glaive I have is called close to melee function on it, where if you kill someone with the blast, it increases your melee damage. So if I get close to combat stack with my 5 Guile, I'm going around like one tapping majors. Like, I'm a boss, poke. All right, next, poke. Next, poke.
Kenny over here walking around like the sci-fi Shamgar.
There's one of the newest, it's not necessarily new because it was from the last season, but in the grand scheme of things, it's one of the newest dungeons in the game. It's called Ghost of the Deep. And me and my friend Josh were playing it for the first time together. And we got to the first boss in it, and he was having a hard time staying alive. And I'll admit this, he is a better player than me. He understands the game a lot better, but he was having a hard time dying. And when he was pushing the objectives, he kept dying. And he was like, Kenny, I just need you to live. I just need you to live till I can respond and I can keep getting us closer to the goal. I played a Voidwalker Warlock. And one of the things that I have access to is called Devour. When I activate Devour, I have 9 seconds of every time I get a kill, it puts me back to 100% health. Fully heals me. I kill someone, whoop. I kill someone, whoop. It doesn't matter what happens. Even if it goes down like a tick, back to full health. 1 health, back to full health. And then every time I kill someone, it resets the 9-second cooldown on it. So I'm going around, 5 stacks of Guile, close melee perk activated on my glaive, and I'm just going through it. I'm just walking around in a circle. The ads are endless. They're non-stop spawning. Like, it's supposed to be one of those things where, like, you can't exist in this room. You're not supposed to. You have to dive down underneath into the water, come back out elsewhere, do an objective, dive back down, because the amount of aggro you get is too much. And I'm just sitting there like, don't worry, Josh, I got this. He's just swinging my glaive around, living. He's watching because he has no choice but to watch me from my perspective while he's on his cooldown timer for his death. And he's like, how are you doing this? Cutting a swath through the enemy and I'm not dying. It was amazing. I love it. Unfortunately, the downside of that build is, even though it's really good at dealing with majors and it gives me good survivability, it does not do enough DPS against bosses. So if I go up to a boss that I can't kill in like 5 swings, it's like, hey.
It's like that. It's like that scene where Batman was punching Superman, and then like the kryptonite dust slowly wore off.
Be gentle. So I have to find a way to incorporate a way to be a DPS monster against bosses. Normally, how I do that.
Oh man, the Age of Ultron, Hulk versus Iron Man. That would have been a better analogy. Crack, crack, crack. I'm sorry.
That wasn't Age of Ultron. That was just Avengers.
No, that was Age of Ultron.
When he dumps him through the tower.
Yeah, and he's like he's got like that
Oh!
pulsating punch.
Oh, that
thing.
was Age of Ultron.
Yeah,
You're right.
That was Age of Ultron.
Because the Scarlet Witch did that to him.
Yeah, they knocked his tooth out, and Hulk spits it out and looks at him, and Tony immediately, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep.
There's the only way that Iron Man would have won that fight is because Hulk came back to his senses. Because if he was still a rage monster when he got out of that rubble, he would have torn him apart.
Accurate.
You know Hulk's never lost to Iron Man in the comics?
Has Hulk lost
In-
to anybody?
Yeah, he's lost to people. Yeah, one of his most famous losses, he's lost to Zeus. Hulk's lost to people, but it's never when he's lost to people. It's never because they beat him in a straight up fight, which is obvious because you don't beat Hulk in a brawl. That's why I believe in the Hulk a lot. I think he can beat a lot of people, but there are some people that he shouldn't beat that he's beaten because they fought him wrong. Like Doctor Strange was like, I'm gonna brawl him. Like, you're gonna brawl the Hulk. That's your solution. Even his students were like, you could teleport him across the galaxy, and he's like, yeah, but then he'll just come back mad. And does he really deserve it? And then afterwards, he gets mad, and he's like, all right, and he summons the power of this dude. I don't remember who it was, but he summons this guy's power, and he channels it through himself. He's like, I am now Zom, or whatever.
Oh, Dormammu.
No, he's not Dormammu. He's like, I'm Zom, and I have all the power of Zom. I will have uncalculable power. You can't step to me. And Hulk beats him up anyways. And he's like, oh, okay. He's like, why did you try stepping to the Hulk in his own game? Like, too many people try to brawl the Hulk to beat him. Not the right answer. If you play his game, you're going to lose. He is the best brawler in the verse. No one can out-brawl the Hulk. That is his shtick. He brawled the Sentry, who is supposed to be, in my opinion, a better version of Superman. Especially when he becomes the Void. He brawled Sentry to a standstill and then punched him anyways. It was hilarious. Because they were, and the only reason why it became a standstill is because Sentry's power calms down the Hulk. It stops him from getting angry. His aura, his eminence, has a calming effect on the Hulk. That's why the Hulk actually likes him. I think the Sentry is a Mary Sue character because he's just got answers for everything. His presence is a calming effect on the Hulk. But in World War Hulk, he was so pissed off, it was barely stopping him from going nuclear when he was fighting the Sentry. Otherwise, he would have been a gamma bomb. Their punches were already like bombs going off against each other. They were leveling cities. And that's building up because he gets stronger. In the heart of the monster, which follows World War Hulk, he's destroying realities against Red Hulk.
That's
just
when
with
he goes
strikes.
to hell and beats the devil, right?
No, he's in a different... He's fighting Dormammu's sister is trying to court him. And so she's like, if you be my king, you can have whatever you want. And he's like, all right, I want to fight everything you have. And he wipes out her existence, like all of her reality, her kingdom and everything, just by fighting the Red Hulk. Red She-Hulk, I should say. But Sentry was like, I finally got you to transform back into Bruce Banner. And Bruce Banner was like, you did. Boom! And punched him and wiped him out. A superpowered being. Just as a guy. He's like, you finally did it. You survived long enough to see me as a guy. And then, because they're both like, man, Hulk finally transforms back into Bruce Banner and he's like, I did it.
Oh wait,
I defeated the Hulk.
That's because World War Hulk was when Banner and the Hulk
We're working together.
went on the same. Yeah.
Yeah, because Banner was mad. And he's like, fine. You know what, Hulk? Do your thing, all right? You're going to have access to all of my intelligence. This was an intelligent, pissed off Banner and Hulk. And he finally calms down. His Hulk is too weak to maintain his anger. So the aura of calming finally takes over him. And he transforms back to Banner. And he's like, I did it. I brought you back. And then Banner knocks him out. He's like, I may not be the Hulk anymore, but I can still throw a punch.
I can still kick your butt.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Off the Rails Podcast. I've been your host, Kenny, and today we are being joined by...
Tony, I'm the guy in the chair pushing all the buttons. And we had a special surprise guest. Her name's Ava.
Thank you for joining us, Ava, even though it was a spur of the moment and you just sat there politely with your microphone.
Yeah.
Like, I'm here.
It was nice. The chat catch-up was really simply, it was Taylor, because she decided not to come into our work today. She says Tony is really quiet and echoing. Hopefully I fix that. Then she says super glue works as well. I'm assuming that had to
Probably
do with
for
my
the
liquid
earring.
bandage.
Oh, okay. I was like, maybe the earring.
No, I do think the hot glue would fix your earring, though.
No, it would. I can also, it just, where it
Uh,
broke was convenient, so.
Then she says Kenny is the only clear one. Careful with that. He'll get a big head.
I'm
then
perfect.
she
I am the
says,
show.
all right, y'all, break is over. I'm going back to work. Have fun and see and or talk to you y'all later. So that's good. This is why we need to video the podcast. So people can see this. Anyways, thanks everyone for joining us tonight on that. And remember, like, share, subscribe, find all of the social media stuff. We'll catch you all up later. Next week, I actually think we will be doing a Dungeons and Dimwits.
Yeah, if everyone's still around.
Yeah, so I'll get that caught up. If not, it'll just be another OTR. And I think it'll be the 3. I think Ian will be there for that. We'll be there for that one.
Or at least I hope so.
So, all right.
Yes.
So, thanks everyone. And as always,
It's your move, Internet.